So this is a video that has taken me a long time to do the research and in-game testing of particular weapons. I'm going to be giving you the top 5 Modern Warfare 2 weapons to use here in Modern Warfare 3. And I want to come right out and say this. The best weapons in Modern Warfare 3 are still better than the best weapons from Modern Warfare 2. So that being said, these weapons are very, very good and they do compete within the meta, but at the same time, they're not going to be better than weapons like the MCW, the Rival 9, the Bas B, or the Longbow. All of my choices are very good, but they're not 100% meta. So I wanted to start us off here with an honorable mention in a sniper rifle because honestly, the Modern Warfare 2 sniper rifles, the bolt action ones, are better than the Modern Warfare 3 ones. I don't really consider the Longbow a sniper rifle. You guys could have differing opinions about that, but I look at that thing more like a marksman rifle than I do a sniper rifle, to be honest. So we have access to the KAT AMR and the XRK Stalker, but the FJX Imperium, in my opinion, is better than both of them. So if you're a sniper that's looking for a bolt action sniper rifle from the Modern Warfare 2 universe to use, the FJX Imperium is 100% the best. So the way I have this built out is going to be for aim down sight speed or quick scoping. So we're going to start our build here with a barrel where I have the TAC Commando 19-inch, going to give you gun kick control, aim down sight speed, and recoil control. Obviously, I am targeting just the overall aim down sight speed. It's not going to be a massive amount, but every single attachment you add for aim down sight speed does help the cause. It's only 0.4% here. But at the end of the day, there's not a better option for you to run to add aim down sight speed. For a laser sight, I have the VLK Laser 7 milliwatt. Unfortunately, they just nerfed this attachment for some reason. I honestly couldn't tell you why. I feel like it wasn't really like a meta type attachment, but you are still gaining 3.9% to the aim down sight speed here, along with 7.9% to the sprint to fire speed, which even though it's a sniper rifle, sprint to fire speed still is important. For a bolt here, I have the FJX Blast for rechambering speed, aka fire rate, and when you go to the statistics, you can see it increases your rate of fire by 14.3% and your rechambering speed by 6.1%. But that rechambering time, it goes hand in hand with the rate of fire. And if you've used the FJX Imperium, or you're just looking to try it out, when you don't have that attachment on, you do feel significantly slower, especially while playing aggressively. For a rear grip, I have the Skull 40, giving you sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, and that's going to be the most increase when it comes down to that category, 7% with this rear grip to the ADS speed and 21.3% towards your sprint to fire speed there as well. And our final attachment is the field wrapped handle that goes in the handle category. I believe this is the only weapon in the game that has like a handle as a category. It's the same thing as an underbarrel. This is going to give you crouch movement speed and aim down sight speed. So another one that doesn't give you much, only 2%, but like I did state, you do need to increase it as much as possible. If you take off all of the aim down sight speed attachments, it brings it up to like 600 milliseconds for the aim down sight speed. So all of them added together definitely brought that down a significant amount. Here's all of your attachments on the screen if you guys needed to pause and copy those down. Obviously, when it comes to sniper rifles, it's not like one of those things where they can be 100% meta because they're bolt action or single fire. They're never really what I would consider to be extremely overpowered, but at the same time, for my sniper friends and fan base out there, this one is 100% my favorite, and I highly recommend if you're looking to change it up a bit, this is a good option. I wanted to throw a second honorable mention in here, and that's going to be the Lachmann Sub or the MP5. With additions of a couple of buffs, this one kind of fell out of the top 5 in my opinion, and that's unfortunate as it is. It's still a very good weapon, and honestly, it's probably number 6 on my list. But if I'm doing a top 5 list, it's not going to make it. It's a very low recoil, pretty good aim down sight speed, pretty good mobility, pretty good damage range. Overall, just a reliable weapon that honestly, it's probably pretty good in the SMG meta right now, but there's some better SMGs on this list that you guys are going to see in a little bit. Starting our build here with a rear grip, we have the Lachmann TCG10. Personally, I probably wouldn't run this particular rear grip if they had one that gave you aim down sight speed. As you can see, you only have one that gives you flinch resistance and one that gives you recoil control. But this still is very good. We're not sacrificing any aim down sight speed, so it will, in effectiveness, really help our medium range gunfights. So that being said, 7%. Wow, this is so typical. Update requires restart, of course. Long story short, 7% across the board there to all of your recoil categories. 40 magazine, I have the 40 round mag, and it's pretty simple. With the up TTK in this game, even on the Modern Warfare 3 weapons, I tend to run extended mags a lot more than I used to back in Modern Warfare 2 or even Cold War. The up TTK, I find that I run out of bullets very, very quickly. So having those extra bullets in the magazine really helps my cause in a lot of cases where if 3 enemies, 4 enemies, 5 enemies round a corner and you're just in rapid gunfights, those extra bullets do tend to help the cause, especially on weapons like SMGs, where you're up close and personal and you have less time to reload. For an ammunition type, I have the 9mm high grain rounds, and that's going to give you an increase to both bullet velocity and damage range. So I'm going to show you the barrels, and I'm going to show you why I chose this over the barrel. So this doesn't take away aim down sight speed. The only thing it hits is recoil control, which isn't a massive deal on this weapon in my opinion, but you get 15% across the board to damage range, bullet velocity. So I'm going to quickly go over the barrels, and right here you have the FTAC M Sub 12-inch, which is the only barrel that does give you damage range, but as you can see, we're losing 33% to our aim down sight speed, which unfortunately is a very common trend to these Modern Warfare 2 weapons or attachments. The cons far outweigh the pros, and we're getting 15% to our damage range, which is kind of right in line here with that 16% with this barrel. For the underbarrel, I have the X10 Phantom 5 hand stop, giving me sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, vertical recoil control, and gun kick control to help us be more aggressive on the map, but also help us with some recoil control that we did just lose there with the high grain rounds. So that's the main reason I'm choosing this. If I wasn't using the high grain round, I'd probably go with the DR6 hand stop. Doesn't really need more recoil control, but because we just sacrificed a little bit, I did want to add this attachment. You got 8.3% towards your aim down sight speed, 7.3% towards the sprint to fire speed. Then we got some smaller values, 3.9% and 4.8% there towards some recoil control. And our final attachment is the Zem compensated flash hider. This is the newest flash hider added to the game, and it shortens your radar pings by like 30%, meaning you're going to get off the minimap 30% quicker, but it also gives you some hidden statistics here. So we get vertical and horizontal recoil control, but that fire aiming stability does not show up on your stat bar. So as you can see here, you don't see any change or any category for fire aiming stability. What that statistic does is it helps your side-to-side shake on the weapon, and that's why a lot of people have been using the billeted brake. In my opinion, this one does a better job. You're only sacrificing a tiny bit of aim down sight speed at 5.5%, small amount of bullet velocity at 5% as well, but recoil control and fire aiming stability are very, very important. There's all of those attachments. Once again, if you guys wanted to copy that down, unfortunately, it didn't make my top 5, but I promise you, the next 5 you're going to see are 100% better. There's no doubt about it. At number 5, I have the M4. So this one could potentially go up the list further if there was some, if they changed some of the attachment values. The reason this one is at number 5 is because it's kind of slow. There's nothing you can do about it. It's another scenario where some of the cons outweigh the pros, and TTK wise, the M4 actually is one of the better assault rifles in this game after extensive testing. It has a very good TTK. It's faster than the MCW. It's very on par with the MTZ 556. So keep that in mind while you're using it. And if they find a way to change some of these Modern Warfare 2 attachments, I easily find a way where the M4 squeaks into the meta. Now, I wanted to start the build here with a barrel where we have the high tower 20-inch, and unfortunately, this attachment is 100% necessary. You're getting recoil control as well, and you can see you got -3 ticks there to your aim down sight speed, and it's a 31% decrease there. But you do need that increase to the damage range. Without it, it's pretty pea shooter like. You got it up to 32 meters for the damage range there with that 20% increase. Without it, it's at 26.7 meters, which is pretty mid in my opinion. This barrel is kind of what makes the TTK increase a ton. So the recoil control, we also get 9% across the board, which is all good and dandy. The movement speed losses, yeah, they suck, but the big glaring one there obviously is going to be that aim down sight speed. If they find a way to even bring that 15%, you know what I mean? This weapon could easily find its way into the meta. For a muzzle, I have the Shadow Strike Suppressor, and pretty simple. I don't think it needed more recoil control than what I have, but obviously this is a preference. If you want more recoil control, you can definitely chuck on a different muzzle. I personally like to stay off of the minimap, and I really have no problem controlling the recoil whatsoever. So that being said, choose a different muzzle if you want to. Don't. It doesn't matter. Throw a muzzle on though. For an underbarrel, I have the Bruen Heavy Support Grip, and that is for gun kick control, aiming out of sway, horizontal recoil control, and fire aiming stability. We just talked about fire aiming stability in the previous build for the MP5. It's a hidden statistics that's very important in this game, and that's why this underbarrel tends to fly under the radar here. yes, it takes away a good amount of aim down sight speed. I'm going to show you quickly. 7.1% loss, but we're getting 10.4% to the gun kick control, 12% to the horizontal recoil control, and then, of course, that fire aiming stability, which I'm sure you've used the M4 before. It has quite a bit of shake on the weapon. It's going to help control that quite a bit. Same reason we chose an extended mag with the MP5. I'm going with the 45-round mag here for the M4, just in case more enemies around the corner with the extended TTK. Extra bullets are good. Yeah, you're sacrificing a bit of movement and aim down sight speed, but unfortunately, it's the best option. And our rear grip is going to be the Sakin ZX grip for recoil control and gun kick control. Nothing too crazy here, but we're only sacrificing a small amount of aiming idle swag, which isn't important on weapons like the M4. You're not really going to spending a ton of time in iron sights. It's 7% across the board there, which will very much help your longer range fights. It's, even though it's only 7%, not a crazy amount, 100% it is going to help you. So this one easily squeaks in at number 5. Like I said, a few tweaks to some of those attachments and it's going to skyrocket up this list, in my opinion. The reason this one out, there's some other weapons like the Kastov 762 and the STB 556 that didn't make this list, that it's kind of for the same reason. If they tweak some of those attachments, they could easily fall into the meta. But unfortunately, when you need to increase the damage range, and the barrels are the best options to do so, and they're sacrificing 50%, 40%, they can't make the list just due to the overall speed factor of the weapons. At number 4, we have the Vel 46, aka the MP7. Honestly, one of my favorite weapons in this game. It was one of my favorite weapons back in Modern Warfare 2. In this game, it's even more insane. Now, it does lack the damage range, but the movement on this weapon is downright ridiculous. Easily the best moving weapon in the game. So, you have a damage range drop off, so play aggressive. Pretty simple, right? Stick to close quarters engagements, play on small maps. This thing is so fun. It is just super fun. Fast aim down sight speed, crazy movement. We're going to start here with a rear grip with the ZLR Combat Grip for recoil control and gun kick control. I don't really have to explain this attachment all too much. We're getting 7% across the board to our recoil control while not sacrificing any aim down sight speed. Obviously, that is of utmost importance while running an SMG. Now we have the 30-round mag. Now, people could be questioning, why would you choose this when you just said you need some extra bullets? You have a crazy reload speed with this 30-round mag. It is basically instant. So that being said, this gives you far too much aim down sight speed and movement to ignore. And I'm going to hide my camera. You can see this thing is easily the best attachment on the build as far as increasing the overall mobility. So you look at the 30-round mag here, you are gaining insane amounts of not only handling, sprint to fire speed, but also movement. So an extremely important attachment here on the build. Increasing our movement and aim down sight speed. Once again, we have the DR6 hand stop for the underbarrel here. And once again, we are gaining large amounts. This definitely contributes to how insane the movement speed is on this weapon. So hiding the camera once again so you guys can see those statistics. Again, not only sprint to fire speed and handling. Yes, it's not as much as that 30-round mag, but add this on top of what was gained with a 30-round mag, and you're going to see why you are absolutely buzzing around the map. You're strafing side to side so fast people can't keep up with you. These are two attachments that really contribute to how fun the weapon actually is. For a muzzle here, I have the ZEM 35 compensated flash hider. I've already talked about this attachment. You got the hidden statistic in fire aiming stability along with recoil control, only sacrificing a small amount of aim down sight speed at 3.9%, getting 5% to the horizontal recoil control and 15% to the vertical recoil control. Obviously, the fire aiming stability helps. Obviously, getting some recoil control there. And you did need a bit of recoil control because the only time I really covered it was going to be that rear grip. And this is going to help you in medium range if you do need to take those gunfights. And finally, we have a barrel. Again, a situation of if they tweak some attachments, this weapon could be downright insane, but it is 100% necessary here to increase that damage range. We are up 24%, bringing it to 12.6 meters to the effective damage range, along with a 10.2% increase to your bullet velocity, and very glaringly, 38% to the aim down sight speed. So if we take that off, we're at 10.2 meters, which you don't think that's too crazy of a difference. It really is. You'll notice it on this weapon because you can see the large separation between the effective and the minimum damage range, meaning in between that damage range, you have a huge drop off. It's kind of insane. So that increase to the overall damage range definitely does help your cause. Honestly, I would say try it with both. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Take off the barrel and try it, and then run it with the barrel. You'll see why I chose it. It definitely feels 100% better. So as I'm editing this, for some reason, the audio files got corrupted on the part where I talk about the weapon. And long story short, here's all of your attachments. If you guys did want to copy them down, I apologize. Normally I have something good to say. I just don't remember what the heck I was talking about. So there it is. At number 3, I have the ISO 9mm. Here's the thing. I used this on stream last night and people were absolutely blown away and surprised at how good this weapon actually is. You may not think about it. It looks like, oh my God, this weapon's going to be a pea shooter. It is not. It has an insane fire rate, virtually no recoil, and once again, some insane movement speeds. An extremely underrated weapon. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You got to give this one a try. It's super fun, and honestly, it would probably compete with the Rival 9 in my opinion, but we're not going to talk about that. It's not better, but it would definitely compete. Starting us off here with an optic in the slate reflector. You don't have to run an optic if you don't want to. I dislike those iron sights a lot. A lot of people dislike those iron sights a lot, but I personally like to run the slate reflector here. The optics are always a preference type of attachment, so if you have an optic that you enjoy more, you can use that, or the iron sights as well, but keep in mind, just a preference. For the rear grip, we have the A30 Stout. That's going to give you gun kick control and recoil control. It's basically been on every build we've put out here because you're not sacrificing aim down sight speed, but you are still gaining recoil control. So 7% across the board for that attachment. I believe it's the same for basically every single weapon, but that recoil control is needed for your longer range fights. For a magazine, I have the 50 round drum, and yeah, you're sacrificing some movement, unfortunately, but this weapon shoots so freaking fast. It 100% is needed on the weapon. The RPM of this weapon is at a straight 1,000 rounds per minute. So keep in mind, when you're shooting 1,000 rounds per minute, you run out of ammo extremely fast, even when you have 50 bullets. It's 100% necessary. For the underbarrel, we have the SL Skeletal vertical grip, giving us aim down sight speed, vertical recoil control, and sprint to fire speed. It also does give you gun kick control, even though it doesn't say it does. So as you can see, there's 6.6% to the gun kick control, 8.4% towards the vertical recoil control, along with bringing our aim down sight speed up a bit from what was lost there with the magazine. 6.2% to the aim down sight speed, 4.5% to the sprint to fire speed. And our final attachment is going to be the Zem compensated flash hider, and that's going to shorten your radar ping by 30%, along with vertical recoil, horizontal recoil control, and fire aiming stability. Obviously, you can see I'm going to be using this muzzle a lot now that it's out. Probably the best muzzle in the game, in my opinion, for a lot of weapons. Obviously, the higher recoil weapons, that may not be the case. But in this particular case, this is plenty of recoil control, giving us 5% to the horizontal, 15% to the vertical, and obviously the hidden fire aiming stability. I wanted to quickly jump through the barrels with you on this one, because if they do end up changing some of these barrels and making the aim down sight speed loss less, this weapon is going to be ridiculously broken. And that's just, for example, you're losing 22% here. Obviously, that's not worth it. 20% added there. Then you also go to another one, 16%. Like, if they just end up changing some of these, man, some of these Modern Warfare 2 weapons could be extremely fun in this game, and I kind of want to see it. I would love to have some variety where the Modern Warfare 2 weapons compete with the Modern Warfare 3 ones, because there's only like 10 of the Modern Warfare 2 weapons that really like outright compete with these Modern Warfare 3 weapons, and it has a lot to do with the attachments. As always, there's the attachments on the screen if you guys wanted to copy that down. Like I said, people watched me on stream and they were absolutely mind blown, flabbergasted by how good this weapon actually was. So definitely put this one on and give it a try. At number 2, we have the M13B. This was originally going to be in my number 1 spot, but they decided to nerf it. It is what it is. It's still extremely good. The nerf didn't do all too much, but there's just one weapon that's better than it. 0 recoil, pretty good mobility, fast fire rate. This is a very good aggressive style of assault rifle, and I'm happy the M13B got some love, because as you know, in Modern Warfare 2, it was kind of mid. It wasn't bad, but it just never fell within the meta, and I'm happy it's extremely good in this game. For an optic here, I have the Mk3 reflector. Like I stated with the ISO 9mm, run whatever you want in this category. You don't have to go with the optic. You can go with the iron sights if you want, or you can go with a different optic. It's just going to be your preference. For the rear grip, we have the D37 grip. That's going to be the gun kick control and recoil control, and it's going to be 7%. Once again, like I said, basically used on every single weapon in this game. And the simple answer is you're not sacrificing aim down sight speed. We have another extended mag here with the 45 round mag, and this is another fast firing weapon, so it makes sense. You need some extra bullets to pick up some extra kills with the increased DTK in this game. Unfortunately, it does take away quite a bit, which kind of makes me a little angry, but you still do need it, and it's 100% necessary. The Bruen Heavy Support Grip is making another appearance here, and it's not for the horizontal recoil control like maybe you would think. It's 100% for that gun kick control, along with the fire aiming stability. So the gun kick control on this weapon, it does like to kick differently. I'm going to explain this gun kick. So the gun kick control obviously is where the weapon starts. When you shoot it, where does it kick to? So the M13B likes to kick up and to the left extremely strongly on the original kick. So that's exactly why I'm choosing this barrel. And I also needed that horizontal recoil control because obviously when it kicks to the left, you want it to stay centered. As you saw when I was in the firing range, this thing shoots extremely straight. There's nothing to complain about. Our final attachment is making an appearance once again is the ZEM 35 compensated flash hider. Like I said, this is probably going to be my muzzle for most weapons in the game. I don't need to explain it all too much. We've covered it quite a bit here. 5% to the horizontal recoil control, 15% to the vertical recoil control, and then the fire aiming stability once again. Now, if they didn't nerf this thing, like I said, it was #1, but the nerf didn't do all too much. It just made one of the weapons improve a little bit. You guys may be shocked by what #1 is. At #1, we have the Lachmann 556, and this weapon actually is very, very comparable to the MCW. The MCW clearly has it beat, but it's very comparable. It actually might be the second or third best assault rifle in the game as a whole. It has very low recoil, very good damage range, very generous damage. I mean, I don't need to explain anything. I'm gonna be honest. This thing's ridiculous, and it doesn't really get talked about. So let's look at the attachments. In this particular case, we are unfortunately running a barrel, 18% loss, but the extra damage range is necessary to bring it up to 35.9 meters. This is what really puts it on par with the MCW because it competes with that Cyclone barrel. Actually, now that the MCW got nerfed, this might make the damage range is better, but the MCW obviously just has virtually no recoil. I still think the barrel is necessary nonetheless. I built this out and I found the most success while running this barrel. It just feels extremely good. We get the 8% increase to the damage range, 8.7% to the bullet velocity, and then some small values there to recoil control. For a muzzle, I have the Shadow Strike Suppressor. I've seen 2 options for this one, or I tried 2 options for this one. I used the Shadow Strike Suppressor, or I used the Zare compensator flash hider thing. I've used this one. If you want more recoil control, this one is the best option. Or if you want to play like me, stay off of the mini map completely. You're very good at controlling recoil control. I really like the Shadow Strike Suppressor here, and we have no sacrifices towards our aim down sight speed with that one. For the underbarrel, I have the SL Skeletal Vertical Grip. That's for aim down sight speed, vertical recoil control, and sprint to fire speed. I wanted to make up for a little bit of what was lost from the barrel, and the Skeletal Grip does a good enough job of helping you do so. 5.5% is added back to your aim down sight speed, 5.6% towards the sprint to fire speed, along with 6.7% towards your gun kick control and 8.4% towards the vertical recoil control. When you look at that sprint to fire, this is one of those categories that actually, it very much outshines the MCW, and it's at 170 milliseconds. The MCW is somewhere around 250, so this weapon overall is going to be a better aggressive option with a better damage range. Keep that in mind when you're testing this one out. Use the MCW, use the Lachmann 556 side by side, and you're going to see this one is a better aggressive option. An extended mag, once again, not really going to talk about it. Need some extra bullets, increase TTK, 4 or 5 enemies around the corner. You guys know the spiel. I like to run some extra bullets here. Not 100% necessary, but I think you're going to find more success by doing so. And the final attachment is the LMK64 grip, and that's going to give us sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed. This is the one time I'm not running a recoil control rear grip, and it's simple. It doesn't have one. I don't know why. I would probably run it if it had it, but it just doesn't have it. We are sacrificing a small amount of recoil control, nothing too crazy in my opinion, 6%, but we're getting a lot of sprint to fire speed at 15.8%, and then some extra aim down sight speed to make up for really what was lost from the barrel. We're not gaining all of it back, but it definitely helps the cause. And for the final time in this video, here's all of your attachments on the screen, and you guys got to try it out. I don't know what else to say. I discovered this one on stream and I'm like, hold the phone. I was just looking at the statistics. I'm like, hold the phone. This is like the MCW basically. And I was proven right. I used it. And it basically was. This video was extremely fun to make because I haven't really touched many of the Modern Warfare 2 weapons this year. I've played around with like the TAC 56, the Vaznev, the M4, the basic meta weapons, but I never really dove into some of the other ones until I wanted to make this video. I was happily surprised that the meta technically is different from the Modern Warfare 2 weapons. If there's any of them that you guys want me to try, make a video on, make sure you guys go down in the comment section and let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.